boring. Go on, have a drink. That's what people are told when they go out with their friends who are still drinkers. Are you going out tonight? Are you socialising? But you're worried that someone is going to say, why don't you have a drink? Oh my goodness, you're so boring. Oh my goodness, you must have one. Go on, you sure you can have one? Why aren't you having one? On and on and on it goes. And it makes it really tricky for us to actually say, no, I'm not drinking, but I've got a few tips up my sleeve that I can help you with. So, alcohol-free August challenge day 23. And as it's Friday night, I thought it was appropriate to go with the tip of socialising. And it's one of the questions I'm asked all the time, and something that obviously is a struggle for a lot of my clients, because a lot of them have decided to stop drinking. And they then really realise that when they get invited to parties or things to do, that they actually, one, don't enjoy it and feel pressured to drink. And so, for example, one of my clients went to a couple of events back to back and realised that she just didn't find them fun at all, but couldn't leave. So that's one tip. Have a way of leaving. Make sure that if you go somewhere, make sure you have something you can, a way of getting out of it. And don't worry about what people think, because most people won't even notice that you've gone, that you've left. And so don't feel pressured to stay. That's one tip. And another client said, well, what's the excuse? What do I say to people? Because I always feel that I have to give them a reason or tell them why I'm not drinking. And you don't have to explain anything. You don't have to tell anybody anything. It's completely up to you what you say to them. And if you don't feel comfortable, if a stranger asks you, why aren't you drinking? There's no reason for you to tell them what the backstory is or anything like that. You can simply say, because I'm not. And if you are, if you're feeling like you just don't want to mention that you're on this alcohol-free challenge, even though it's a good excuse to say you're doing something like an alcohol-free challenge, people seem to be okay with that. Obviously, dry Januaries and sober Octobers are quite normalised now. So you could say you're doing a challenge, you could say you're training for something, you could say you're on antibiotics, you could say that you've got an early morning thing, you could say you're driving. There's so many things you could say. So feel free to just come up with whatever you want to say, but feel confident. Say it confidently, and then no one will care. And I always think, when someone says, what do you want to drink? Just say, I want an alcohol-free gin and tonic, or I want a soda and lime. You don't have to say, no, I'm not drinking, and make a big thing about it. Just be really firm and clear in terms of what you're doing, and say, I'm not drinking tonight. And people worry about being told that they're boring. Oh, you're so boring because you're not having a drink. Well, once you sort of take a stand and say, I'm not drinking, or I'm going to have an alcohol-free gin and tonic, or I'm going to have a soda and lime, afterwards, people will have their drink, and before you know it, you've changed the subject, you're on something completely different, and no one even notices whether you're drinking or not anyway. So we put all this pressure on ourselves, and we say to ourselves that we can't, what's going to happen? Oh, I'm so worried, people are going to think I'm boring, blah, blah, blah. It's simply not true. Everyone, this is the truth. No one cares about you. And I'm being harsh here. People care about you, of course, your family and friends. But the majority of people will not care whether you are drinking or not. This is for you. This is something you're doing for yourself. You're the one that's saying, I don't want to drink. You've decided I don't want to drink. So it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. And they don't care. Once they have their drink, they're not going to care whether you're drinking or not, because that's what people do. People are far more concerned about themselves than anything else. So another trick is, if you find that people are sort of pressuring you and saying, oh, go on, have a drink, why aren't you drinking? Just change the subject and ask them a question about themselves. Everyone loves talking about themselves. So, say, how was your holiday? Or change the subject. And as soon as they get going, they'll completely forget that you're not drinking. And you'll actually find that as the night goes on, they'll have a few more drinks, and you'll be sat there thinking no one actually cares that I'm not drinking now. So we get really excited and really under pressure about the fact we're not drinking. But you can absolutely do this and you can absolutely enjoy it. And a common belief is that I'm now boring, I'm not as confident, I'm not enjoying myself. And it's worth questioning that and saying, is that true? Are you boring now you're not drinking? Or is the situation boring because you're actually doing something you no longer want to do? So if you are still going to the pub or going to a bar and doing that while you're not drinking, and then realizing that everyone else is slowly, repeating themselves and slurring their words, and you're finding it boring and that's because you're not drinking, and you suddenly realize that that's not actually as fun as it was when you were drinking. It doesn't make you boring. It doesn't mean you're not confident. It just means that you're seeing things in a slightly different way. So I encourage you to not worry when you go out. And if you're going out this weekend and someone says, go on, have a drink, don't worry about it. Say whatever it is that you want to say. Be prepared, absolutely. Go there prepared. Know what you want to drink. Know what you're going to ask for. Have an answer to the question, why aren't you drinking? And it can be just because I'm not, or whatever answer you want. And think about your why. Why are you doing this? Why are you alcohol free in the month of August? And you're doing this why have you taken a break from alcohol? And then think about the morning after and how wonderful you're going to feel the next day when you play it forward and you have absolutely smashed it. You are living your best life. You're not hungover. You haven't got that horrible anxiety. You haven't woken up at 3 a.m. feeling like I shouldn't have had that drink. And you're raring to go for the rest of the weekend and you have the most fabulous day. So you can do this. You can go out. You can have fun. You can have drinks. And I'm here for you. I'm really proud of you. You're doing so well. Day 23. Whoop, whoop. So I will see you tomorrow for the next tip. Take care of yourself. Bye.